Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's Kyra if you are new here, and we are here to talk about our 2026 master plan, aka we're going to be talking about goals, and we're going to make, at least I'm going to make a Pinterest vision board just because I just don't make physical vision boards, and I feel like a Pinterest one is going to be a lot easier to be able to carry around. I digress. Sit down, grab something to drink, pull up a notes app, your Google Doc, your Notion template, and let's talk goals for the next year. Okay, so it took me a while to decide my goals for the next year. I was really sitting down and kind of thinking about it and kind of just pondering and tossing around, as one does, all of the ideas and kind of what I want my next year to look like and what I want to achieve in 2026 and kind of the steps I want to take and what I want my life to look like overall and what goals I should be focusing on now in 2026 for the rest of my life, if that makes sense. I watched a bunch of different YouTubers, one being Tam Kwar, and all of her videos for the past couple of years talking about her 2024, 2025, 2020, 2023 goals and her vision boards, and kind of how she sits down and works through those and decides what goals she's going to look for. So that was kind of the inspiration for goal setting this year, at least. So I think the first thing we should totally talk about is my why. Why am I doing this? What's going on next year? The idea for me this next year, kind of my why going into why I'm doing these goals, is kind of balanced abundance. There are a lot of things I want to do, a lot of things I want to achieve, a lot of journeys I'm in the middle of and starting and, trying to continue and whatnot. And I want to continue to be able to do those things, but in a way that is balanced so I don't overwork myself. A lot of the past, not this past year, but prior to that, 5-ish, 6-ish years were really rough of me trying to do 50 million and 11 different things and yet not giving myself the time to also take care of myself so I can do those 50 million and 11 different things, and kind of just trying to push myself to keep going and just not taking care of myself. So I want to work on building resilience and making that muscle stronger, but also just continuing to build as a person while also making sure I'm taking care of myself so I can continue to build as a person. But that's in general kind of my why. I think this next year is also going to be a lot of working hard now so I don't have to work as hard in the future type of vibes, because a lot of this is going to be school and career focused. Anyway, into the goals, I just wrote mine on a legal pad until I'm ready to transfer them into my planner or Pinterest, but they're just here for now. So far, we're going to start career and school. So my big goal for next year is to get into a master's program. I've been working on this one for the past couple of months, but grad school's big. A lot of these programs are big, so the master's is the next step on my educational journey. So I'm going to be working really hard for the end of this year and the beginning of next year to really solidify applications and get in by the end of the year, because duh, I'm going to get in. The next thing I want to do is I want to eventually go to medical school, so I definitely need more clinical experience. So I'm going to really focus on making sure I get shadowing hours, making sure I'm volunteering and really focusing on that, making sure that I'm spending some time at some clinics and things like that, and really getting in those hours in the best way that I can. And finally, I'm taking organic chemistry, the second part, the second half, so semester 2, Orgo 2, next semester. And if anyone knows anything about Orgo, that's not an easy class, but I've been doing absolutely fantastic in my Orgo 1 class that I'm taking right now. So the idea is to continue doing fantastic and get an A. I think it's possible, totally doable. It'll just take a lot of work. So I don't know, it's going to be an interesting first half of the year, at least career and school-wise, an interesting second half of the year, career and school-wise. We'll see. I have like a bunch of things going on. Yeah. Moving on. Travel. I want to travel to one country outside of the US. That's it, that's all. That is the goal for travel. One country, that's it. Moving on. Health and self-care. So for my health and self-care, this is really focused on like making sure that I'm taking care of myself. And the first 2 ways that I have to do that is I want a slow morning and I want a slow evening. I feel that like so of my life is just like go, 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 just like do this, do that, do this, do that, that I never have time to kind of just like sit down and just decompress and like get ready for the day. And it's one of those things where when I stop taking care of myself, it just kind of spirals and spirals and spirals into something bigger until now I'm, you know, irritated, I'm upset, I'm just going day by day. The mental health, like my mental health is just declining. So I'm hoping like having a slow morning and a slow evening will really combat that. I also want to start journaling daily. So I'm going to talk about this in like a separate video in like a video or 2. It may be the next one. Not sure, we'll see. But I got a common planner for my 2026 planner, and this is technically the complete planner. Now I've never planned vertically before. I don't like it, but I'm gonna try it for the year just because I kind of like the way that this planner is set up. I'm gonna have an entire planner setup video, but basically each day has its own daily page. I don't know if you can see that, but each day has its own daily page, and I basically just want to use it as my to-do lists for each day, but then also to like journal and memory keep. So I definitely want to journal every day. That might also include doing morning pages. I started doing morning pages this year because I was in the middle of doing the artist way, and then I realized, oh, I actually don't have time for this right now. So then I stopped. But I really liked the morning pages, so I'm hoping to continue that. I'm also hoping maybe next summer I'll do the artist way and like record that journey on YouTube, but it won't be until the summer when I actually have time to dedicate to that. I also, number 2, I have just been eating, like when it comes to meals, it's so easy when I'm just like packing lunch in the morning to throw in a bunch of like processed things into my lunch and kind of just like head out the door and go. And it takes like a lot of time to like actually make a meal with mostly whole foods or as little processed foods as possible. But like I want to make sure, like make it a goal that next year I'm focusing on eating a lot less processed foods, because I feel better when it is, and I don't feel guilty, I want to say, when I eat like mostly processed foods. Like that's not the thing. I just noticed that I feel a lot better when I eat less processed foods. So the idea is to feel a lot better about the foods that I'm eating. When I say feel better, just eat healthier. The last thing I want to do is find a physical activity that I love or just enjoy doing. I really need to find exercise, but I find I don't like exercise. Going to the gym is so boring. Also, gym memberships are expensive. Oh my goodness, hundreds of dollars, hundreds. And then like you have to pay like a yearly fee and then monthly fees. Like what is this? Who decided this? Anyway, so we're gonna find a way to like get exercise that's hopefully like cheap or free, but maybe also not, because I'm thinking like maybe I should take up ice skating, but also I don't live near any ice skating rinks. Like I'd have to drive pretty far to get to an ice skating rink. But then it's like, oh, I could pick up horseback riding. Horseback riding's expensive. I don't own a horse. Anyway, I have to find an activity, so that'll be my goal for next year. Maybe it's just gonna be hot girl walks. Who knows? Not me. Not yet, at least. Okay. Next, I think I'm gonna do social media. Social media, that one's easy. I want to be monetized on YouTube next year. So hopefully this time next year, your girl's getting paid by YouTube. Anyway, so that's the goal for that. Material, dress more whimsically. We'll come back to this one because it's gonna like tie into my hobbies. Which, speaking of, finishing off, hobbies. So 4 hobbies. Which one, let me start with. Okay, I'm gonna start with my musical ones. So I used to play the piano and the violin back when I was from elementary to high school. That was like my consistent music years. So when did I start? I want to say I started piano in the 1st grade and I played all the way up until the 6th grade. And then I started violin in the 4th grade and I continued all the way up till the 12th grade consistently. And the reason I stopped piano was just because it was getting to be a lot. It was kind of like, I got to the 6th grade, my parents were like, okay, well, you got to kind of choose violin or piano. I chose violin. So did violin, It has been quite a hot second since I've graduated high school, and I miss it. I miss music so much and being able to like play music. So a goal for the next year is to learn a concerto, both a violin concerto and a piano concerto. So my senior year of high school, I want to say I learned the Bach double concerto for 2 violins in A minor. I learned the first movement, first violin, and the second movement, second violin for both. And I think by the end of next year, I want to be able to like play those both again, but also learn an entirely new concerto. So we'll see, I'll have to figure that out. For piano, maybe not a concerto, I'm not really sure. I have to find something that's more in my skill set. I'm a much better violinist than I am a pianist, but we'll figure it out. Next, read 36 books. So, about this one, I really got back into reading heavily this year. I've read so far 16 books, and that's like starting in like July. And there are like some months where I did really well, read like 5-6 books, some months where I only read 1 book. I digress. So I kind of like averaged out everything and decided, you know, my average is gonna be 36 books, which is about 3 books a month, which should be good if I account for like some months I'm gonna read like 5 books, and some books I may only read 1 book. And like, it should be fine, and I should meet the end goal. What is hard about my reading goals is I also read a lot of manga, I read a lot of fan fiction. And like, fan fiction, like I'm not gonna count that as a book, because like most of the time they're not books. I feel like for fan fiction, it's gonna be a lot easier to count words if I wanted to include it in my reading goals. And for manga, it's gonna be a lot easier to count pages, because I read like all of my manga online basically. So I don't know, we'll see. I might count the manga and like just wait for like a volume to finish and count it like by volume and just count those and see kind of how far my reading goal does. If I do include manga, I'm going to definitely make my reading goal higher though. We'll see, but for right now, like, it's gonna be 36 traditionally published novels. And finally, for my last goal, excuse my squeaky ass chair, my last goal of 2026 is to become more whimsical. How can I call myself the president of the Silly Goose Society? And I don't feel whimsical enough. I don't feel silly goosious enough. So this next year, we're gonna be on our P's and Q's, which is kind of adding in with the whole like dressing more whimsical type thing. So definitely that. I need to like get ideas. There are Substack, I don't want to call them articles, they're not articles, Substacks? Yeah, Substacks that I want to read, and kind of just really embracing whimsy and joy of life. I think it's so much fun. It'll be great. I'm very excited for that goal. I will have to say, I'm not really sure how I'm gonna measure that one in like a SMART goals type way to say like, yes, I've gotten more whimsical. So that's still a work in progress, but we're gonna do that. So yes, I think the final part of this video is just working on my Pinterest vision board for the year. So the idea of this vision board is kind of, the photos are supposed to like replicate the life that I want to live this next year. By the end of 2025, what's that going to look like? And so when I look at my vision board, I can say like, okay, am I making choices? Am I making decisions that are kind of leading me towards the life that I want to live and the life that I'm trying to build for myself? I think what's important about the vision board is that you don't make the things on the vision board like goals that are not something that you're thinking of accomplishing like soon. You know, I could put a picture of my dream house on the vision board. That's probably not happening for a good while. And you know, I'm the last person to say that something's impossible. It's just highly improbable that within this next year, I'm gonna get the house of my dreams. Right? Because I spend my time, like anyone else, looking at multi-million-dollar houses on Zillow, and I'm like, yeah, that one's gonna be mine. And then getting sad when someone buys my house. You know? And I'm just not, right now, currently, in a space where I'm making enough millions of dollars to afford, you know, a $20 million house. So that's probably not gonna happen this year. In the future, but not right now, you know? And probably not in the next year, right? I'm gonna put on pictures that inspire me for a slow morning, things that represent kind of the slow mornings that I wanna have. I'm going to put on pictures of like whimsy. What are the ways that I'm adding whimsy in my life, right? To kind of just like remind me and to inspire me to like, yeah, like these are the things that are gonna happen. Who knows? Who knows what can happen? The future is ever changing and like in front of us. It's exciting. Anyway, getting back to it, let's get started on this vision board. Okay, before I end my video, I just wanted to give a quick little look at the final vision board for 2026. So this is kind of just the general board. It's mostly vibes, some outfits that I may move, but kind of just like the vibe overall for the year. Favorite photos from this, quite literally probably these 3 or 4. So this one that says, what if I'm not silly enough? This one that says, I'll be in my office. This one that says, born to be a woodland fairy princess, forced to worry about a job and taxes. And this one, life's not about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. And I thought they were all cute. So then, quickly going over my final boards, I have my travel board. I have my material, which has a ton of outfits for inspo and some car stuff, obviously. I have social media stuff. I have hobbies, which is, I've added baking and cooking, I just realized, but kind of vibes and music and reading and whatnot. My health and wellness, and kind of just giving myself inspiration of like what my next year should kind of look like. And finally, career and school, which there's not a lot here, but like the ones that are here make me feel good. So yeah, that is my 2026 master plan, or kind of a brief overview of it, going over my goals and making my vision board. I hope you guys spend some time I hope this gave you guys some inspiration, gave you some time to make your vision boards, make your master planning goals for the next year, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've made it this far, put a sun emoji in the comments and tell me some of your goals for the next year. And then next year we'll come in and like, I'll watch the video and you'll come in and check in, and we'll like, it'll be like accountability partners, you know? Yeah, okay. I will see you at the next video. Have a wonderful, fantastic, you know, day, evening, morning, night, whenever you're watching this. And I will see you next time. Bye!